Hello, I am Vettel or Vittel ASMR, and welcome to another gaming Ramble video. I actually didn't plan to make yet another Ramble video about video games. It's going to be a nerdy ramble just like usual, but I didn't really plan initially to make another gaming Ramble video so soon, but there was a request a few weeks ago about me tapping with just tapping on the video game covers, and I didn't do that in last video because there was so much else to do in last video, so I decided I'm going to do it today instead in this video. Okay, I have said I am Vettel ASMR, and I hope you're having an excellent day, my friend. Hope things are going well with you. Yeah, I hope so. Anyway, if you enjoy just nerdy rambles, some tapping on video game covers, maybe you'll enjoy this video. I'm going to use my nails, my long nails, to tap, and a pen. Yeah, there was a request from a viewer that I would use my long nails, that I will grow my nails long and use it to tap on things. So I'm going to do that now. But I'm also going to be using a pen. And I'm going to ramble, of course, about 4 different video games I have played in my life, one which I'm currently playing, actually. So yeah, if you enjoy this video, remember to click the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It would mean so much to me, like, seriously much. But anyway, enough about that, let's just begin. I won't waste more of your time. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the 12th main installment in the Assassin's Creed series, and it was a super successful game a few years ago in terms of sales and reception and everything. It is a Viking game, essentially. I have played all the Assassin's Creed, at least all the main installments of the Assassin's Creed games before Valhalla. I admit I have not played the 2 most recent Assassin's Creed game, which is Mirage and Shadows. I know both were successful in each own right, especially Shadows has been super successful, but Valhalla was also successful and it was released a few years ago. And in this game you play as a Viking, and it is the 3rd entry into the Ancient Saga, essentially the RPG Ancient Saga. The series of installments set to ancient times, essentially. So with the first being Origins, set to ancient Egypt, the second being Odyssey, set to ancient Greece, and then you have this set in the 870s during the age of the Vikings, primarily set in England actually, but it also features the maps of Norway, Isle of Skye, and if you have the DLCs, Ireland and Francia, and some other smaller locations, including some dream afterlife type of sections like Asgard and Jotunheim, you know. Asgard. But yeah, so to be honest, this entry is perhaps, as a Viking game, it is super fun, but it is perhaps the entry into Assassin's Creed series which feels, in a way, the least like an Assassin's Creed game, but it's still a very good game. I enjoy having played it for some time now, and I enjoy it. It has a very immersive world filled with events and stuff to do. Like, it has excellent world building, and it has a very living, breathing world. They have, in Valhalla, they add something called for world events, which are various encounters on the map, and there are lots of them you can come across as you travel the world, and those small encounters and activities actually help for making it a very living, believable gaming world. So you can really immerse yourself in this game. You never run out of things to do. However, on the flip side, sometimes there is a little too much to do. Like sometimes you're suddenly overwhelmed a little by everything there is to do, you know. Sometimes you just want to relax and then suddenly a quest you didn't expect to come along, and it can be a little annoying at times, to be honest. And that's also why Valhalla is a little controversial within the fan community, because the game can be a little overwhelming, but I think you just have to take your time with it and just be patient and just... But it's actually super fun to go around and explore medieval England, and it's so great to have finally a Assassin's Creed game set to medieval times. That was my dream many years ago, that I would set an Assassin's Creed game to medieval times. You play as a Viking, so you go around raiding, you know, and conquering raiding. It's essentially what the game's about. So, fun game, fun game. I'm going to move on to an older Assassin's Creed entry, the 6th main installment. This is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And in this game you play as a pirate called Edward Kenway, I believe that was his name. And you go around essentially being a pirate in the Caribbean in the 18th century, early 18th century, in the 1710s, essentially. And it's also a very fun game. This is the second entry into the American saga, and the American saga consists of Assassin's Creed 3, set to the American Revolution, Black Flag, set to the golden era of pirating, and Assassin's Creed Rogue, which is also set to America during the 7 Years' War. So they're all entries set in America, and that's why it's called the American saga by many. Or the Kenway saga also by some, because it follows the Kenway family. Anyway, this is also a very fun game I played many years ago. I believe it's one of the better Assassin's Creed games. And this sort of expands on the full-scale open-world nature elements already established in Assassin's Creed 3. But this one truly, you know, it's the first Assassin's Creed entry to truly, really delve into the whole full-scale open-world exploration thing. Sure, the 5 previous games had open-world elements, especially Assassin's Creed 3, but this game really drags it even further. There's a full-scale map of islands to explore, and a sea, you can get your own ship, and a sea to sail across, ship battles, you know, and just being a pirate and explore islands in the Caribbean. So a very tropical atmosphere and landscape in the whole game, really. Very, 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 very enjoyable in its own right. This is also an entry from before Assassin's Creed. The Assassin's Creed games took an RPG turn, so this is more closer to an old-fashioned Assassin's Creed game in that regard. But it is sort of part of the whole, you know, American saga, which all experimented with open world and nature exploration. You know, before Unity and Syndicate went more over to urban city exploration again. But then you have Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, which went back to full-scale nature open world exploration. So they've been through some paces in the Assassin's Creed games, but it's a very fun game. The next game is a cult classic from the Xbox era, from the early Xbox era. Jetset radio shooter, and we're actually making a reboot of that now. I know there's also Jetset Radio for PlayStation, I believe, or something like that. Or whether it was on Nintendo, I don't know which gaming platform it was for, but we also made an original Jetset Radio before Jetset Radio Shooter. And there's also sort of a spiritual successor in the recent years called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. But anyway, we're also now making a full-scale reboot of Jetset Radio Shooter. But Jetset Radio Shooter is a very basic and fun game. You play as essentially a gang member going around graffitiing cities, defeating cops, and it's a crazy but enjoyable short story in that relation. So you're essentially a rebel punk within the games. So you can recruit characters, play as various characters. And it's a very basic and fun type of game in its own right. Go around skating, graffitiing, doing various contests, stuff like that, while also following a storyline along these various activities. So, super fun game. And a timeless classic in my opinion. Look, this is the last game I'm going to talk about today. Dragon Age Inquisition. It is the third entry into the Dragon Age saga, the Dragon Age franchise. And Dragon Age consists of 4 main games. So this is Dragon Age Inquisition. Lead them or fall, and it is set to the fictional medieval inspired continent world of Tidus, and this is set in the fictional countries of Ferelden and Olay, which are essentially the equivalents of Britain and France. And you lead the Inquisitor in 940s dragon, and in this age the entire southern Tidus is pretty much falling apart, and there's full-scale wars between the magic users and the Templars, who are sort of the faction which controls the magic users. I'm not going to get into all the crazy details about this plot, but essentially you have to be the Inquisitor and try to restore order to southern Tidus, and that's not easy. It takes a long time. It takes an entire game to do it. So in each Dragon Age game there is a different protagonist, and you follow a different theme, story and conflict. So the first Dragon Age game is Dragon Age Origins. Then there is Dragon Age 2, and then there's also a massive expansion to Origins called Awakening, and then there's Inquisition, the third main entry. And then there is the recent game Dragon Age the Veilguard, and they're all set in different parts of Tidus. So you have, I'm going to nerd a little now, you have the first game which is set in Ferelden. Awakening, the expansion, is set within the small location of Amaruntin. Dragon Age 2 is set in the city-state of Kirkwall in the Free Marches. Inquisition is set in Ferelden Olay, and then you have the Veilguard, which is set in northern Tidus and explores Tevinter, Rivain, the Anderfelds, and Navarra, and Tevinter, and all the places in northern Tidus the previous games didn't explore. So, each game allows you to visit different parts of Tidus. It's a very... Back to Dragon Age Inquisition. Dragon Age Inquisition is the one game in the series featuring a full-scale open-world approach with several open-world maps to explore. It became a very popular game when it was released a decade ago, and I know a lot of Dragon Age fans has this game as his favorite. Often on the top of the list you will either see Inquisition or Origins, little depending on who you ask. But although I know some people actually also have put the Veilguard at the top of a list, despite the Veilguard being a more controversial entry or a more divisive entry. But Inquisition at least was popular a decade ago, and it featured a full-scale open world, which you could explore. With several open world maps, and it is the only game in the series to have this open world, so there is a lot of activities, lots of stuff to do, lots of different companions to recruit. Well, to just make a long story short, it's an enjoyable game in its own right, but maybe when I played it a decade ago, I didn't maybe enjoy it as much as I should have. Maybe because I wasn't as good at sorting things then, because this game can too be a little overwhelming. There are lots of activities, lots of side quests, lots of side stuff to do, so if you are a completionist, it can take some time, to complete it. It focuses more on the exploration of nature areas, really. It doesn't really have, unlike Dragon Age 2 and the Whale Guard, it doesn't really have any big cities to explore to any extent, but it has some huge nature areas. So if you're curious about this game and need a new fantasy game to play, check out the Dragon Age series. So, what was it? It seems we clocked in at about 15 minutes with this video, and well, that's good for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed me rambling on about games again, and also showing you 2 games I haven't used in my previous videos, and hope you enjoyed the ramble, and wish you truly all the best, and